Hi and welcome to my video. I'm going to be showing you how to service a Street Triple. The bike in question is a 2013. It's coming up for 3 years old and it's done just over 6,000 miles. I'm going to be following the official service sheet. I'm going to go through in order. There's a couple of extra jobs that need doing. One is changing the coolant because it's nearly 3 years old, and also I want to grease the swinging arm bearing, so I thought it would be quite interesting to show that. So the first job on the list is to change the engine oil and filter. Right, I've had that running for about 10 minutes or so, just to get it up to normal operating temperature, so now the oil's nice and warm. It'll be easier to drain out. Obviously we need to be careful because the exhaust is going to be hot and so is the oil, but I'll get it draining. You need a suitable container, and it's 13mm, the sump plug. Let's crack that off. Who did that up? Bloody hell. Fucking hell. Oh, God. Now that was last serviced by a dealer and they obviously have over tightened that. I had to have it done by them last time because it was in warranty. It's not now. Right, we'll get that draining. And there we go. It's also handy to have some rag on standby, just so you can wipe stuff off. For doing the filter, it's ideal to get yourself one of those, which is a tool that fits on the end of the filter and helps you unscrew it. Like that. And now tell you what this is going to be. Not too tight, luckily. There we go. So yeah, I'm just going to let it drain now till it's just a drip, just to get it all out. Right, I've given it quite a long time and now it's barely dripping. It depends how long you want to leave it. I mean, if you wanted to, you could leave it overnight. I like to give it as long as possible to make sure I drain as much oil out as I can. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fit the oil filter. Now it's a good idea to give the mating face a wipe off with your cloth, just to make sure there's no dirt or grit or anything on it. Also make sure that the old filter rubber hasn't stuck on the engine block and then you fill it and then it'll leak. Also it's a good idea just to lubricate the sealing washer with new engine oil. So we'll just put a bit on there and just put a bit on that sealing rubber, just hopefully for next time it will help it come undone. Like that, and then we can screw it on. This coolant hose does get in the way slightly. Now there is a tightening torque for this. It's on the filter, it says between 8 to 12 Newton meters. In the manual it says 10. Obviously if you're using this tool you'll easily exceed 10 Newton meters. So a good way is just once it contacts the face of the engine block is to go quarter of a turn. Doesn't need to be that tight, or even hand tight to be honest. Now we're going to fit the sump plug, and I'm going to use a new washer, so we'll pop that on there. Pop that in there, he says. And again, there is a tightening torque for this, and when I went to undo it, it was over tightened. It's 25 Newton meters, so we'll just pop that on there. That's all it needs to be. And then finally we just need to clean off any excess oil. because you don't want it dripping everywhere. And just do that. So now I'm ready to put the new oil in. Triumph recommend Castrol Power, which is a 1040 semi-synthetic, but my local dealer have actually supplied me with this, which is a Morris, which are quite good oil. It's fully synthetic, it's 1040, but the important thing, if I can find it, is that JASOMA. That means it's motorcycle specific for wet clutches. That is so important when choosing oil for your bike. So the wet fill is supposed to be 3.2 litres. I'm going to put 3 litres in and see where we end up. What you're supposed to do to check the engine oil is run it for about 5 minutes and then wait for 3. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to top it up to just a little bit below maximum, and then I will carry out that procedure. So I've put in nigh on 3 litres now. I think that's about half a litre, 3.5 litres, so let's see where we are on the dipstick. Okay, there we go, just below maximum. So hopefully, I mean the engine's still quite warm to be honest. Hopefully that won't be overfilled. I'm going to start it up now, run it for 5 minutes, wait 3 minutes and we'll check the level. Right, so I've run the bike for about 5 minutes. I've then let it sit for 3 minutes, so let's check the oil level. I'll take this out. Give it a wipe. You have to screw it all the way in to check it. There are some Hondas, I had a Honda that you had to leave the dipstick just resting on the threads. There we go. Look at that, spot on. So that doesn't need any more. So make sure that's tight. Again, this doesn't need to be like stupidly tight. Just snug it up. Make sure your filler's tight. And as you can see, I'll show you, I've probably put about 3.5 litres in. And that is spot on. So that's the oil change done. So we've started, we're on the way. Next it's the fuel system we need to check.